So I brought you some pictures of Georgia, and I hope it's going to work out that you just run them in the background, and they might fit in my speech. I don't know who else is here, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very happy to be here to speak to you about my beautiful country, Georgia. When you fly from Munich to Lisbon, it takes you a good 3 hours. And when you fly from Munich or Berlin to Tbilisi, it'll take you about the same time. The continent Europe is often referred to as a house, the house Europe. If Europe is a house, we Georgians live at the crossroad of Europe and Asia, like to see our country as the house's balcony. And this is why I would like to invite you onto that balcony and to have a look around. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you Georgia. Thank you. Georgia has to offer a lot. An eventful history, beautiful landscapes, exciting cities, breathtaking nature, a wonderful, incredible, hospitable people. Traveling to Georgia is not only a trip to another country, it's a journey to a whole new world. Maybe you just, oh, it's going itself. Perfect. So it works. Because I haven't seen it before, what they prepared for me, so I'm happy that it works. Among its many strengths, Georgia's most important one might be its diversity. Georgia has about the size of Switzerland or Bavaria, almost 70,000 square kilometers. It still manages to hold 3 different climate zones, or even maybe more. And why I'm telling you this? Because it's one of the main reasons Georgia becomes such an interesting and attractive tourist destination. Let's start with the mountains that you can see in the background. If you have been to the Austrian Alps, I'm sure you found them beautiful. If that is the case, you should come and try, for example, Gudauri. Gudauri is located at the heart of the Greater Caucasus, and Gudauri was among the newest and most modern ski resorts of Georgia. Right now, this winter was opened a new ski resort in Mestia, which is in Swaneti part of Georgia. And I just happened last Sunday to be skiing there, and it was an incredible experience, because you can look at mountains that are 1,000 meters higher than the Alps and ski at a place where it's very snow safe, and it was just an incredible experience. Gudauri is just 2 hours away from Tbilisi, or even if you drive a little bit faster, in 1 hour and a half you can make it. And it offers spectacular views over dramatic peaks and breathtaking gorges. The slope of Gudauri is available for several skiing disciplines and is suited to skiers of all abilities. The resort is equipped to offer alpine skiing and ski touring, but also, and this is one of its specialties, heli and off-piste skiing. And by the way, where I've been, there's also wonderful heli skiing. And it's then you have slopes like for many, many kilometers to go. It's absolutely beautiful. But as you can imagine, the Caucasus Mountains have more to offer. And as such, not only, but of course also ski resort Bakuriani. Bakuriani is situated in the Lesser Caucasus. It's our country's winter wonderland for entire families, an area become famous in the 19th century when the Romanov family developed the area into a game reserve and mountain retreat. They even hired Gustav Eiffel to design a bridge for the narrow gorges railway up to the verdant pastures. There the Russian aristocracy enjoyed abundant coniferous forests, crystal clear air, and breathtaking views. Bakuriani meets Olympic standards and used to be the training grounds for the former Soviet champions. Nowadays, it's one of Georgia's favorite family destinations, allowing youngsters to make their first steps in the snow, but also very popular with teenagers for superb snowboarding opportunities. Its wide range of hotels, chalets, guest houses are modern, done in tasteful settings, and they are affordable. And did you know that in Bakuriani you even can ski without jacket on? True, not all the time, but the town's unique climate makes it possible. Situated in the subtropical zone but at 1,650 meters, quite high altitude. Summer is temperature and relatively cool. The average temperature is 20 degrees. And the winter is snowy but relatively mild. Therefore, in spring, it is common to be able to ski basically with summer clothes. The average depth of snow is 60 centimeters, and the sun shines in Bakuriani for more than 2,000 hours a year. The mountain regions are not only attractive during winter months. During summer, the gorgeous landscapes becomes wonderful settings for hiking and trekking, which I've done also in many, many parts in Georgia. And it's also very famous for bird watching. Due to its many climate zones, Georgia is home to diverse wildlife, many of which are endemic to the region, not only for birds, but also for plants and for many animals and plants. According to the World Wildlife Fund, more than 330 different bird species can be found in Georgia. This is in addition to 4,100 different plants, 1,000 of which only exist in the Caucasus, 160 different fishes, 48 different reptiles, as well as species that have become rare, such as the Caucasian leopard. It's the only place in Europe where you can still find in wildlife leopards. We have brown bears, wolves, lynx, and otters. The scenery offers many opportunities for independent travels and customized tours. Well-developed hiking trails, fully equipped camping sites, and guest lodges allow for unique travel experience, far from mainstream and yet very popular. Georgia's diverse nature and the scenic beauty of its landscapes are its most important assets. Georgia invites everyone to come and share this beauty, experience a country covered 40% by forest, with semi-desert, that's where the leopards live, glaciers, valleys, gorges, wetlands, and much more. But Georgia is as well committed to preserving this natural treasure and committed to developing tourism sustainably. In order to protect these natural resources, over the past years, 31 protected areas have been established and conservation measures have been enacted. In all, 25% of the country's territory has been declared national park, preserving the habit of many endemic species as well as the beauty of landscapes for future generations. Our oldest natural resort is over 100 years old already, and it's really a completely untouched nature, and it's incredible for hiking. There are several things in Georgia that are where Georgia is particularly famous for, and one is certainly the wine. And there is a very good reason for this, as Georgia unquestionably is the birthplace of wine. I'm aware that quite a number of countries claim this, but we actually can prove it. For example, the word wine in Georgian is vino. It actually comes from Georgian. So it's wine in English, it's Wein auf Deutsch, vino, and all this, it actually comes from the Georgian language. Grape seeds, along with wine implements such as clay vessels, have been found in Caucasus tombs, which are over 8,000 years old. So this can be proved. 8,000 years, they were making wine the same way they are doing the wine now. Nowhere else in the world is there evidence of viniculture that old. It probably can be said that there is no other country in which wine and winemaking is honored and cherished as it is in Georgia. Over 500 species of grapes are native to Georgia, most of them indigenous and still unknown to the rest of the world. In Georgia, you can taste those unique flavors and discover the differences. But it is not only the wine that is worth a journey, but it's also the land. Most people come for wine tasting, but will discover that this region, located against, I have to check every once in a while what they're showing back there, located against the snow-capped Dagestan Caucasus to the north and the Azerbaijan wetlands to the south, impresses with its wide, fertile valleys, its charming villages, and its picturesque churches. We have a huge amount of old monastery sites, They have fresques inside, old ones, and the churches there are not just a couple of hundred years old, they're just 800 years old, 1,000 years old, 1,200 years old, and it's just very, very impressive because they are not, I mean, when you have one of them in Germany or 3 or 5, everybody is traveling there and it's very famous, but in Georgia you just stumble over them, there are so many. It's very, very impressive. You're not so much into winelands or winter sports? For Georgia, this ain't a problem. Georgia's Black Sea coastline is beautiful and offers various destinations for relaxing seaside vacations. The most famous is certainly Batumi, Georgia's #1 beach resort. It's located right at the border to Turkey in the southwest. Combining a unique blend of subtropical coastal climate, framed with rich green mountains and its legendary nightlife, the city has the ability to make its visitors fall in love. Not only does it offer the healthy and rejuvenating combination of the seaside and the freshness of mountain air, its surroundings present mostly tea and citrus plantations dotted with ancient ruins, with even old Roman ruins there around. Batumi is easy to reach, as the open waters of the Black Sea connect Batumi with Russian, Turkish, and EU ports, as does its new international airport. Less famous, yet equally, indeed fantastic, are the nearby beaches of Kobuleti and Sarpi. And now newly will be built the Anakle resort with wonderful sand beaches, a little bit north of it. Both are also well resourced with hotels and restaurants. They're basically all the big brands are there, hotel brands. But traveling to Georgia is more than just visiting pretty locations and exciting landscapes. It is a journey to the heart of humanity's history. As a nation located at the crossroad of Europe and Asia, Christianity and Islam, Georgia has long been marked by the quests of many different intruders to own that small but gorgeous piece of land. From the 1st century before Christ to the 18th century, the Greeks, Romans, Persians, Arabs, Ottomans, and Russians have all tried, but none have ever conquered it completely or permanently. As a result, Georgians have acquired a skill that has become defining for the nation as it is today. It has learned, against all odds, to preserve its culture and heritage. Today, many of the roots of European history are visible in Georgia. Did you, for example, know that the recently discovered Manisi hominid is in the foothills of the Lesser Caucasus provides a remarkable 1.8 million years old link with humankind's first transition from Africa to Europe and then Asia? And were you aware that as a contemporary to ancient Greek culture, cities were being built in Georgia when most Europe lived only in villages? The city of Kolchis, which today is the harbor city of Poti, was originally a Greek colony. It was known for its famous school of rhetoric and philosophy. Many other settlements were subsequently established along the Black Sea coast by these famed civilizations. Also, Christianity in Europe basically began in Georgia. Along the Black Sea coast, parts of the country had already been converted when in the year 330, St. Nino of Cappadocia brought Christianity to what today is Georgia. She made a cross from grape vines bound together with her own hair. This has remained the cross of the Georgian churches to this day. So Georgia was not only Christianized in the 4th century, but also in the 4th century it became state religion already. And this is the first one together with Armenia in whole Europe. More importantly, though Georgia's early acceptance of Christ had huge implication for its future, as this permanently oriented the country to the west, to Rome, and later to Europe as a whole. Much of this heritage can be visited today in the various churches, castles, and fortresses around the country, or of course in the various museums in our capital, Tbilisi. And Tbilisi in and of itself is worth a trip. Now Tbilisi became a partner country Tbilisi became a partner town to Berlin's museum sites, and they're doing a big EU project called the Twinning Project, where with the help of the Berlin, how is it called? The big cultural institute there where to who all the museums belong, they are now working together, and they build a whole combination of all the museums of Georgia, and they bring them of Tbilisi and bring them together. So it's an incredible project. That is a 2 years project where they're going to have, this is something completely different but also beautiful. So there is a great museums project going on, which is an EU project between Berlin and Tbilisi. Not only is Tbilisi incomparably picturesque with its winding cobblestone streets, nested in a river valley, and built on mountains which offer spectacular views from various locations. It is also a place of hospitality and generosity. A vivid young city combined the good old Georgian traditions with a modern Western lifestyle. Here we are. Come and enjoy a walk through the newly restored old town, relax at one of the inner city's sulfur baths, and take pleasure in an evening with our Georgian wine, singing, and the remarkably Georgian hospitality. I've already told you how gorgeous our country is, and because we believe that such beauty should be shared with others, our government has been steadily investing in infrastructure and the tourism industry as such to allow more people to visit our country. With the help of foreign investments, a third international airport is being built in Kutaisi, which is pretty much in the center of the country, and $1.5 billion will be invested in modernizing our infrastructure, especially rail and motorways, making travel and transport more efficient. So the country really shrinks now with all these more modern streets, because when I came there first in the 90s, it took forever to go somewhere that is only 40 or 60 kilometers away, hours actually, and now you're there in just a few minutes. The political leadership is determined to make Georgia an attractive place for trade, investment, and business. Therefore, measures have been taken to shape an economic framework in which business can develop quickly and healthily. Upon gaining independence, one of the most significant problems was the high level of corruption in our country. After the Rose Revolution in 2003, President Saakashvili and his government implemented a number of laws to fight corruption. Today it is clear in Georgia that bribery is not a petty crime, but constitutes a threat to the well-being of our entire nation. This development has also acknowledged by Transparency International. Back in 2004, Georgia was considered one of the red lanterns in terms of corruption. Today, we have moved up more than 100 places, having become the undoubted frontrunner in our region. Please allow me to illustrate this with just a few figures. In the framework of the latest survey conducted by Transparency International, people were asked whether they had paid bribes within the last 12 months. The average amount of those stating that they had was 32% in the group of so-called newly independent states. In Russia, this figure was 26%, in the Ukraine, 34%, in Azerbaijan, even 48%. I have to admit, I'm somewhat quite proud of holding the top spot with only 3%. Thereby, Georgia even lowers the group's average, while at the same time meeting the same standards as the European Union. Taxes in Georgia are comparatively low. Corporate taxes at 15%, income tax flat 20%. Conditions entrepreneurs in other countries can only dream of. All this makes Georgia an interesting place for investment. It is a growing economy and a vibrant marketplace. Several institutions, for example, Germany Trade and Invest, have attested a good investment climate. Last year, the World Bank named us reformer number 1 from 2005 to 2010 and listed as 12th world range in Doing Business report 2011. That is 2 places better than last year, but more important, 104 places better than in the year 2006. Ladies and gentlemen, Georgia is wonderful. It is bestowed with beauty, enchanted with myth, entrenched with history. From my first visit, I fell in love with this country. I promise, so will you. Georgia is where Europe started. Come and enter this continent from its balcony. You will see this trip is worthwhile. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Your Excellency. You now have the opportunity to ask questions or make comments. And please introduce yourself if you can also. Thanks.
Hi, Robert Saunders here. First of all, I'd just like to thank you as a U.S. academic for the current program that's going on in Georgia, and that is bringing over Americans who will be teaching English.
Yes.
I mean, we haven't talked a lot about person-to-person diplomacy while we've been here, but this, I think, is going to be the greatest person-to-person diplomacy, a small country like Georgia, unknown to most Americans, especially with the name conflation with our state down, our Peach, Georgia. You know, you're the wine Georgia, they're the Peach, Georgia. So I think this is really a great thing, and I hope in the future that it really can be maximized and continue to do it, because I recommend to my students who are looking for an overseas experience to consider Georgia and to consider doing this, because you meet people on a daily basis, and it just will change your life. So I just want to thank you for that more comment.
I'm very happy that this is going on. It's not only going on with the States, also with Germany. This program is going on with several other European countries. And I think this is really, really a great achievement and a wonderful idea of our president. And I'm also very happy that this is going on. Yeah.
Other comments or questions? Yes. Okay.
Hello, I have a small question, if I may ask. What's your... Yes, my name is Ian, I'm from Ukraine. Yes, I want to ask, what's your personal connection to Georgia? How was your way to decide to become an ambassador and to connect your life with this country? Thank you.
Well, this happened, you know, in my other life, as you've heard, I'm an artist. And once an artist, always an artist. And I was doing a lot of shows, of course, in the Western states before the fall of the Iron Curtain. And after the fall of the Iron Curtain, I was also invited to exhibit in Eastern states, and that's what I did. So this was just like my private tourism. When I was invited to give a show, I went there, even if I knew I wouldn't sell a lot, and I was just happy if I had a break even. So I started to do more exhibitions, and it just happened that I was giving exhibitions in Hungary, in Poland, in the Baltic states, in the Ukraine, and then I happened to end up having an exhibition in the Caucasus. My first exhibition actually was not in Georgia, but it was in Armenia. And then I was invited to Georgia. And I must say, when I came to this country, I instantly fell in love with this country and with its people. And then there came the next exhibition, and then I was asked to give some lectures at the Academy of Arts, and then I became professor at the Academy of Arts there, and that's how it happened. And then I had with my students, I made a big monument, and when this was inaugurated, the president gave me a Georgian passport, because I'd done a lot for, let's say, kids there and so on. And so I had already since many years the Georgian nationality. And then he asked me whether I would become ambassador. And I was very honored, and here I am.
Your Excellency, congratulations on that very interesting story. I think it's not common history in terms of also the way in which also one can become an ambassador. But you remind me a lot, actually, a member of our board of directors. She's Professor Cynthia Schneider, also formerly a professor of art history, then was named by President Clinton to be the ambassador in the Netherlands, and is now back teaching at Georgetown University. So in many ways, for me, I think you're the perfect ambassador, in the sense, really, in your heart, coming from the field of culture and art, and now entering the diplomatic field. So if we could all please once again thank Her Excellency, the Ambassador. Thank you.